We're back. I like this hook. You got a book you want to tell us about? Well, let's talk. There's no other place to do it. Only on Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am hanging out with
George, the dreamer, the dreamer. It goes in and out. That's funny.
Yes, I did it on purpose. I was doing it on
so
purpose.
I can't hear it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I can't hear it when you pull it out. I can't hear it.
Remember back in the days? I don't know if you remember this. Back in the days when it was just radios, and we would think that we're mixing when we were lower the volume, raise the volume, right? With the DJs playing the mixes on the weekend. You don't remember that?
No. I remember recording songs off the radio when they were being played, so that I had them for myself. But I don't remember that. What you're talking about?
Yeah, I thought it was a DJ. It's like chicka.
Nice. How's it going in there in the studio by yourself, month 4?
All by myself. Don't wanna be.
How's it feel? You have the lighting. You've had that lighting for a while.
Yeah.
Hey, have you figured out how to mute the mics? Like how to mute the mic so that we don't hear certain things?
You mean the cars that go by with you?
Yeah, I wish I had a thing. I wish I could mute it. Actually, you know what? Through Zoom, I can mute you.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
There you go.
There you go.
Today,
what's
happening?
What's happening? Before we go into it, today we have a comeback show. We have a follow-up guest.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He was one of our earlier guests from last year.
Yeah, episode 154 to be exact.
154, and now he's episode 193.
39 episodes later or so.
Yeah. So why do we have our guest back?
Well, so Michael Grassia is the guest we're talking about, and he's been doing some really cool stuff online. He's got a new I guess podcast. I don't want to call it a podcast. I don't think it's a podcast, but it's called InCrediChat, where he also interviews artists, and they talk about the stuff that they're working on and things like that, mostly artists. And he's been doing that for a little while. So I wanted to give him a little shine on that. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we talked about prior, which I want to know how his app is doing, how InCredicon, he's also one of the, we had Mike Lopez a couple months back talking about InCredicon. I want to talk to Michael Grassia, see what he thinks. So yeah, it's a follow-up show. And even though this is July 10th, this show would have been recorded way before. So things will have changed. I don't know if we'll still be in the house.
Lockdown, Pelican Bay. Click-cling,
yeah,
click-cling. Libertad. Click-cling, click-cling.
Yeah, I don't know if by July 10th we'll be out and about. So we shall see. But yeah, that's our guest today.
Pretty cool. And
yes, sir.
We can't look back to look forward to talk about current events. So, what do you like that, right?
we can't talk about current events that happened a few months ago.
Not unless we have that Back to the Future. But
dude, one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future.
Yeah,
absolutely favorite movies of all time.
And why is it your favorite movie, George?
I just love time travel movies, and I just think it was done so well, like for what we think of time travel, or what we thought time travel was back then. Because now the whole concept of time travel in movies, ever since Endgame, is completely different. But the simplicity of that movie, but yet taking a subject like time travel and making it fun, it was just, I love it, man. I love it. The DeLorean, Doc Brown, Marty McFly, classic. It's just a classic.
You know what's sad is that I only seen. I don't remember most. I probably only seen the first one. That's it. You know what I liked of Michael J. Fox?
Yeah.
Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood.
Remember that movie? When he was a doctor, big city doctor. He went to this backwoods town, one sheriff, one horse town, and I guess he was there to do some pro bono work. I don't know what it was, and then they were making him feel guilty. Because he made such an impact on the community, but he was used to the New York life, and everyone was so normal, and then he falls in love with this girl.
He had another movie called The Secret of My Success.
Yes, I remember that. That was a good one.
I remember that. He would have to change in the elevator all the time because he's supposed to be working in the mailroom, but he wanted to be, he wanted to work up with the big execs.
Yes.
So he would have to dress up differently. That was a fun movie to watch. He had that. Teen Wolf is another favorite of mine.
Yes.
Teen Wolf was great. I think I started liking basketball because of Teen Wolf. I want to say that. Well, Teen Wolf and Michael Jordan happened at the same time for me. And so, yeah, so that movie is good. What other movie from Michael J? And then obviously Family Ties. You remember the show Family Ties?
Yes.
Alex P. Keaton.
Yes.
He had
what was the theme song?
Roles. Jeez, what was the theme song?
I don't even remember the theme time. Because I remember all the theme songs, but I just don't remember that one.
Yeah, I know. Damn. You know what? It's funny. Like those shows, that's when you had theme songs back then.
Yes.
Like, Family Matters, Family Ties. I mean, Family Matters probably later, but you had
Silver Spoons.
Around that time. Oh, Silver Spoons. You had Growing Pains was around that time. They used to show them at the same time.
Growing Pains, yeah,
as long as we keep on living.
Yeah. We got the world sitting right in our hands, baby, you and me. We gotta be the luckiest dreamers who's ever been dreaming. Yes, I remember that.
That's Family Ties?
Was it?
Or is that Growing Pains? That is Family Ties.
Been together. Here's the other part. And I bet we do together.
Here's the other part. Here's my part. That was it, Ben. That was it. We were singing the right one.
No.
Yeah.
This is What Will We Do, Baby. What will we do, baby?
So what were we singing?
Without love. We were singing. What was I singing?
As long as we keep on giving. That was Growing Pains.
What, baby?
As long as we keep on giving. Yeah, it is. That's Growing Pains.
Was that Growing Pains?
I think so, yeah. I think it was Growing Pains.
Yes.
We're going down memory lane. It's actually a good segue to the topic for today, but I'm gonna let you find that song so we can I want to make sure that's the one we were singing. Love the Google, man. I love the Google. Google and YouTube.
It was.
What do you got? That's it, right? As long as we keep on.
It was Family is the one with Michael J. Fox.
Family Ties is Michael J. Fox, yes.
Was it?
That's Growing Pains.
That's Growing Pains.
That's Growing Pains. That's with Alan Thicke.
Yeah.
Who was it? Oh, Kirk Cameron. It was Kirk Cameron.
As long as we got each other.
Wow. Holy cow. Anyway,
yeah, that's what that was. That's what it is.
Yeah. Talking about memory lane.
Yes. Everyone's like, what are these guys talking about? They don't know. They don't know what's up. It's like the facts of life. I was in love with Tootie.
Oh,
you take the good, you take the bad, you take the both, and then you have the facts of life.
I like Tootie.
I was in love with Tootie
too. I mean,
Blair, I loved her because she was just like tough.
Yeah, no, that was Joe. Joe
was tough. Yeah, Blair was too much for me. Joe, I like Joe because she had that edge to her, but I also love Tootie. Tootie was a cutie.
Tootie was a cutie.
Yes.
Tootie was a cutie.
Yeah, she grew up to be beautiful.
Well, what was the spinoff that show came from? What was the show that it spun off from?
The Facts of Life?
Mm-hmm.
It was tied to what was it spinoff? Is that
Different Strokes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was about to say it was tied to Different Stroke. It wasn't a spinoff.
Yeah, it's a spinoff. It was the character
because Mrs. Garrett was their housekeeper.
Used to take care of them.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she went and it was a spinoff. It was a spinoff show from that.
What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
That was a good time.
Anyway,
good times. Anytime you need a payment.
Never watched Good Times.
Oh my God! But what is it? JJ Dynamite. His sister was a hottie. Ooh, Oof.
Was she?
What?
Who was the sister?
Vanola, but no, I forgot her name. She was the neighbor, but what was her sister's name? Dang, she was so. Oh man.
Don't Google. Don't Google.
I know,
He
Google.
lost him. He's
Oh,
going into.
magic
He's
Google.
He's going into a what do they call that? Into a rabbit hole. You're going into a rabbit hole. Now you're gonna. Now we're gonna. All right. Well, you do that.
She spelled Thelma. Thelma.
All right. Listen. The topic for today is field report.
Topic. Where's the topic? Where's your topic? Get your meds. Topic is field reporting. Yes, it is.
Field reporting. That's going back to the days of when Catch the Craze used to be at the shows and you had some field reporting.
Right.
I remember Michelle St. Martin was part of the team. Right. Yes. I don't remember who else. You had a couple of names that did some of them. Big shout out to these people that you're about to name.
Darian. That was Luis Torres's wife. She was a field reporter. She did the reporting at the MoCA.
Okay.
So she covered the MoCA for us. We had Michelle St. Martin who covered the Big Apple and New York Comic Cons. Yeah. When we were in San Diego, I think it was Keith Murphy who covered a few of the interviews in San Diego. We had a few cats that supported Catch the Craze and took the mic in their hands and hit the road.
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember that. That was back in the days.
That was a time. I think Catch the Craze. The beginning of Catch the Craze was a time. It was an inspirational time because we didn't really know that we were really part of a new trend. We were just having fun, and so many other indies wanted to be involved with it, and that's why it made it so popular back then, because it attracted so much of the community. And we created such a tight-knit community with sponsoring the Indie After Party. And it just became this big, it was this, it was almost, we had our own culture back then. You know what I'm saying? So there was this vibe to Catch the Craze and the indie circuit. And everywhere we went, like we attracted other indies and we met so many different cats wherever we went, and we just wound up grouping up and having fun. And that was a time where people wanted to be a part of it. And so the field reporting is what came about from that. It's like, we couldn't have 50 hosts in our studio or whatever, because the core team is the core team. But, we had the extension and the tentacles and these people had personality. So it was like, what does it take to be a field reporter?
Well, that's a good question. So when you were kind of, because I think at the time when you were going into the field, I think I wasn't really around for that anymore. I think when you started doing the Catch the Craze in the field with like Michelle and stuff like that, because I remember Michelle interviewed me for one of the things we were doing.
Yes, at New York Comic Con. So, that's when you guys became. Yeah. You guys weren't Moss yet. You were a Street Journal team.
We just had the Street Journal.
Yeah, you were Team Street Journal.
Yeah. What did you look for? Like when you were looking for your field reporters? Like what were some of the things that you were kind of looking for?
Courage. That's number one is courage. Just being able to talk to anybody without any hang-ups, without any head junk. Personality, the ability to make somebody feel comfortable, willing to talk to you and open up and have a organic, natural conversation. And Michelle had that ability. She was a natural with that. You just wanted to talk to her. Same thing with Darian. When I watched her at the MoCA, she was so unassuming, so polite, soft-spoken that she made you get closer to be able to have the conversation. So it was just about being authentic, genuine, and creating a comfortable platform so that way the person that you're speaking to is willing to just have a nice conversation.
Did you guys prepare like material to go out in that, or was it like something just off the top of the head?
We prepared guests. So like we talked about who did, like one of the things I said is like, all right, like for instance at the Big Apple, I definitely wanted Mike Lilly at the Big Apple. So she went and interviewed Mike Lilly. I wanted the actress from Witchblade, and she did that. I wanted the actor from what's the actor's name? what's that movie's name with the he's born from hell and he's gonna take his ultimate goal is to destroy the world.
Hellboy.
Hellboy, yes. So his psychic, the underwater guy, the actor from Hellboy, she interviewed him. So I had a guest list of who I wanted her to go up to, and without hesitation, without fear, she just went up to them. She's like, we'll catch the craze, and I'd love to have a moment and chat with you. And they all welcomed her with open arms, and they smiled and had fun, and it was really good. And those were some of the highest rated shows. Were some of the field reporting that she did specifically. Because I gave her a tough assignment. I gave her the names. With Diane, I gave her a lot of the indies, but with Michelle, I gave her some big names.
Now this was at the show, so you'd have a booth or a table at the show selling the.
Yes, I'd be at my table and I'm doing my thing, and so I couldn't be out there engaging. So she was able to go out there and just kill it. She was natural. And then she became a co-host on the show too, because she did a lot of the she did the Dark Corner.
Oh really?
On Catch the Craze, so we had some episodes where we talked about some dark books, gothic books, mysterious books. So she was a co-host on the show as well after you disappeared and you were taken into captivity.
Yeah, when I was abducted.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Good stuff. But so when you guys started doing the field reporting, or when you did that, did you guys ever have like a home base? Like, remember how you had your basement back in the day, and that's when like you started setting up the podcast was in your basement. Mm-hmm. Did you still record from the basement, and then you just added these interviews, or how did the program work back then? Was it similar?
Oh no, the field reporting was straight up the reporting, and I uploaded
just at the show.
Boom. Okay. Just up and uploaded. Okay. But no, I still did the show. I did a one-man show. For a while, I was doing books reviews. So people, indies were sending me their books, and I was doing a lot of book reviews that on they're on our YouTube channel. So I did a lot of one-man shows, and I got a lot of credit from a lot of the cats that were listening that saying, the fact that I was able to carry a show for an hour. Me, give me the mic and it's over.
You're a talker. You're a talker.
You're a talker.
You're a talker.
You got lots to say,
funny,
you.
Huh? you got a lot of topics to talk about.
Topics.
But no, it's cool, man. Because I think that, and I don't know. I mean, podcasting has changed a lot,
dramatically.
Right? Like, so from when we started, it's changed dramatically. And I don't know. I mean, I guess field reporting, still happens in podcasts. I want to say. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen that still be the case, or is it more
I've seen it. I've seen it when I went. Well, I haven't been to a show in a long time. I didn't see.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I haven't been there either.
Yes, because when I was at the White Plains Comic Con, there were podcasters that were going around interviewing. In fact, I was interviewed on 3 of them that I never seen anywhere. They were like, "Oh, it's gonna be up here," and this is never seen it. So I can't even find it when I search it. So, but yeah, I've seen some cats, but not with like the mic flag and the mic and all of the get up and all that stuff, whatever, to legitimize it. It was really just like an iPhone. Nothing major as far as they had no business cards or anything that identified what they were. They just said, "We have a podcast. We'd like to interview you." And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." And so I think with us, what made it a little more official was the fact that we had the get up, we had the mic with the mic flag. We had our branding. The camera, everything that So when we walked around, people were like, "Oh, who are they? Oh, they're coming to my table. Oh, cool." Because it looked legit, and I think that's part of it, the packaging. So I think with Michelle St. Martin, she was just a natural. And in fact, when I announced a year ago that I was going to get back into the game, she's like, "I would love to do the field reporting again." So she's one that I have in mind when we get back to normal to be able to get that done.
Yeah, no, Michelle's great, dude. Like Michelle's personality, she's just, full of personality, and she's great. She
She's good
just, like you said,
people's.
fearless. She go talk to whoever it is, and do her thing.
Yeah, she's good
But
people's.
yeah, no, listen, when you're tasked to go up to, celebrities tables, and we're not talking about, and I don't want to, this is gonna sound terrible, but we're not talking about like a celebrities at the point when they go to these conventions. It's still very intimidating to
It
go
is
up to the stage.
intimidating.
But you know what? Back then, I think getting a hold of these people was a lot easier. I think now, like if you try to do that, I think today at like, well, not you can't now, but like as late as last year, if you want to interview Danny Trejo, right? From he was in From Dusk Till Dawn. He was one of the vampires.
Yes. Everybody knows who
If
he
you
is.
try, yeah, if you try to interview him, you would have to pay. Like you can't just
Yeah.
get close. I guess you got to have credentials, like some kind of press credentials, and I guess that's where if you have the mic flag and everything like that, you
Yeah,
look
that's
official.
how I
So you
was
may be
able
able to
to.
get there.
Yeah, I was able to get into a lot of shows just because you had to provide press credentials, and so I went in as press. So,
Yeah.
but I can tell you, it is nerve wracking because I had a chance to interview Stan Lee and I froze and I didn't do it.
Did you really?
That was the one biggest regret I
What?
have in my life. It's like
What
because
happened?
he was some.
What?
You don't
What
think you're gonna
happened?
get. You don't think it's gonna happen, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
because we met a lot of celebrities throughout the years and at cons, and we so here was the opportunity. It was at a New York Comic Con. I was getting ready. There was my moment, and I choked up, and it was because it was Stan Lee, and I was like, what do I say to a man who's been asked every question? Who's what I'm saying? It's like, what's gonna be different? So the head jump got in my way, and I regret it because I kept doubting myself, and it's
Oh
like
no.
all the bravado was out the door, all of the thing that was fueling the fire that was allowing me to build the Catch the Craze show. It went out the door. I just forgot my purpose. I forgot everything, and I just I was like, because he's the guy that he's Stan Lee. He's the man. He's the top of the food chain.
Stand the man Lee.
And I was shook. I was shook, and I regret it.
Oh,
It's one of those things
man,
that I'll never be able to.
Stage fright.
Yeah, but it
Oh,
happens.
shoot.
I didn't think it was gonna
So wait.
happen. I was prepared. I was like, yeah. And then when I saw him, and I spoke to his rep, and I was next up, and I froze, and I said I gotta go to the bathroom.
So you were all set. Like they were like, all right, you
Yeah.
can come in, you can come talk to him.
Yes.
You're next.
And
You were set up, ready to go.
yes, and I went to the bathroom, never came back.
Oh.
I was like,
What? No, you use that bathroom excuse a lot, bro, to get out of things.
Well, yes.
Everybody understands. Oh, my stomach. Everybody understands
Everybody
that
knows.
excuse. It
Yes.
don't bother you.
Yes, because no one's gonna question you. Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, okay,
Don't
cool.
get a question of stomach ache.
No one's gonna say it.
Wow.
Yes.
You use that a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I see your trick. But damn, man, that's crazy. You could have interviewed Stan the Man Lee.
Yeah. So now
and you
I have a punch
had
list.
to go to the bathroom.
I'm not
You
gonna
had to
bring
go
it
to the
up. Yeah. So now there's a punch list of who I really want to talk to now today. I'm not gonna say it on the show. I don't want people to know, but
bathroom. Okay.
I'm going after that.
Okay.
I'm not taking
Okay.
no for an answer. So
All right.
I don't want to live with the regret of not being able to talk to some of these
So
people
you-
that influenced me.
Yeah. So if you see him at a show, you're gonna go up.
It's
to him.
on like Donkey Kong, baby.
That's right. That's right.
No,
That's
no
funny,
buffer. No,
dude.
no,
That's
no,
crazy.
no. This is one. Like, there's 3 names that I won't even be using anybody but me to talk to. Like, I really want to just talk to them, and
Okay.
and then
You have questions. You need answers.
go in. I'm going in.
Yeah.
Stand back.
All right.
But I learned from it,
Alright,
and I think
man.
what happens is back then I don't know, you can't explain it where everything just
Yeah.
changes in that moment, like the spotlight's on you, and like, oh shit,
Mm.
it's really gonna happen. What? Oh, my stomach. I gotta go.
Yeah. Is that the first time that's ever happened to you, or has that happened to you?
It
before?
happened. The only other time it ever happened was with my wife. when I first met her. You know, it's like that
You had
stage
to go to the
fright.
bathroom?
Yeah, no, that like where like you tongue tied, you don't know what to say, and you just freeze, and you just like, oh wait, no. Another time was when I had to. It was the first time I became management, and I had to do a presentation, and I prepared and I prepared and I prepared. I gave my presentation to my boss, who signed off on it, the PowerPoint. I had to speak before a bunch of executives. It would be my first time speaking in front of an audience. I get up there, it's all these, you know, high-level executives in suits and whatever, and I get to the podium.
Suits.
And I
bunch of suits.
And I went blind.
Yeah.
I went blind. I couldn't see. My hand was shaking so hard.
Dude.
Yo, my hand was shaking so hard that the podium was vibrating. Yo, I swear to you, the podium's going like this, and all you heard from the audience was, you see, all I saw was people putting their hands to their mouths going, and my boss comes over to me. He grabs my hand, and he walks me to the chair. He goes, I'll take it from here. And I sat down, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And so as soon as it was over, I left. I called the recruiter's office. Set up an appointment. I was gonna go into the Marines. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I can't go back to work. I'm an embarrassment. So what happened was, on my way,
I think the best decision. No, go ahead. What?
So what happened was, on my way to the recruiter's office, I saw an advertisement for public speaking. And so it was a course. So I went and took the course.
Better idea.
Yes.
You would have died in the Marines, bro. It would have been over for you. You would have been out there. You would have frozen. You would have been like,
oh, no. Put me in the woods. Put me in the field. It's over. But, yeah.
In the woods.
Put me in the woods. It's over.
Man,
that was my original. That was my original goal. Was to go straight into the service out of high school. But because my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I didn't go. And I'm glad I didn't, because 6 months afterwards, you know, she passed. But my best friend went. We were training. It's a junior Marine program during high school, and we were training on weekends, and they would pick you up after school. And that was my goal. My goal was.
What was it? What do they call those?
So I'm gonna go to commercial because we have our guest coming on the show.
Oh, so, look at that!
Yes, so I'm gonna put. Shh. Why are we hiding? I'm not hiding. I'm trying to catch it. Oh, what are we catching? What are we gonna catch? I'm trying to catch the craze. Catch the craze. The what? The craze? Like the disco craze? No. What are you wearing? What do you mean, what am I wearing? What are you wearing? I'm fresh. No one says fresh anymore. Why are you acting up? I'm not acting up. You're acting up. Come on, man, stop acting up. All right, so we're back, and we have our guest on this show, Michael Grassia. Welcome back. Can you hear us? Michael? Hello? Can you hear us?
Michael, are you there?
He's staring at us. Hello?
No sound. I can't see him. Can you hear me?
He's just staring at us right now. This is odd.
Let me send him a message. Awkward silence.
Hello? Can't hear you.
I wonder if his mic is on.
Okay. Hello. Oh, sorry.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know. I forgot to. I forget Zoom. You got to join the audio too, and
yes,
I never understand that.
Yeah. No.
Well, welcome.
What's going on, Mike?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good, man. Good.
That's good. I will tell you. I told you I might arrive a few minutes late. Well, I have to check the oven in 10 minutes. So I'll bring you guys into my quiche. Yeah, I made a quiche. My wife was supposed to be here to take it out of the oven, but she had to run an errand, and she's like, I'm not going to be back in time to take it out. And I'm like, I'm going on a podcast. I need, so I just checked it and it wasn't. So I need another like 10 minutes or so on it.
That's fine. That's home living for you, right? That's what happens when you're stuck at home.
Yeah. Hey,
so how you been?
I love to cook.
How are things?
Good. I mean, I actually I spent some time in the hospital. I had the coronavirus for a little bit. I'm still under my house quarantine. I was under a 2-week quarantine to one room in the house. Wow. And this Saturday ends my extended quarantine where now, if I want to, I can leave the house.
So how did you?
Not going to though.
How do you know that you had it?
Yeah.
Well, I had a flu. At least that's what the virtual doctor said. I honestly think it was a stomach virus. It felt more like a stomach virus to me. I didn't really have any COVID symptoms or anything. And after about 2 weeks of trying different meds the doctor was prescribing and me having like just really bad issues, I like they're like, come see me, because I think I said this the last time I was on. I had 2 kidney transplants. I'm diabetic, so I'm
thinking about that when you said that.
And I'm like, I'm trying to be careful. My wife's trying to be careful. She hardly leaves the house. And we're very good about cleaning stuff and wearing masks and everything. And I didn't know 100%, but by the time I got to the doctor's office, and I don't know if it was heat related or whatever, I was having a little trouble breathing and I had a slight cough, nothing major. They didn't even check me. They took me to the tent there, and they're like, you got to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I was a little lightheaded and I couldn't even walk up to the tent. They had to get a wheelchair to bring me over.
Wow.
And I was having some breathing issues. I did have a temperature. And they just said, we're admitting you to the ER. They just took my blood pressure and temperature and said, you're going into the ER. So I went into the ER. I spent maybe about 2 hours there. And this was a Friday. And then within 2-3 hours, I was up in a room. And I got better as the time went on. They gave me stuff for nausea, antibiotics, the whole thing. I never had to go on a ventilator. And I was out by Tuesday. And then I spent 2 weeks under quarantine where I was in the bedroom. My wife slept out on the couch because we live in an apartment, so not a lot of room to confide to one room.
Right.
So if I left for any reason, like to go to the bathroom or get something from the kitchen, I wore a mask. If my wife came in, she wore a mask. She sometimes even gloves. I will say it was nice being served breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything from my wife in bed. It was kind of nice. But then I got out, that ended, like I said, I end this Saturday, but starting this week, I started cooking again. Cooking's a hobby of mine. My wife really doesn't cook. I do all the cooking in the house. She didn't do a bad job when she had to cook when I was stuck under quarantine, but now she's like, it's all yours. The kitchen's yours again. And, enjoy. So, but yeah, so I'm back to normal. It's nice because I missed my studio. I actually was so bored one day. My wife caught me laying in bed staring up at the ceiling. No TV on, no nothing, no book near me. And she's like, I'm like, I need something in here, and she's like, why don't we bring in your old drawing table? And I said, that's a great idea. So we set up, and I was able now to sit. I took a folding chair and I was able to sit up, watch TV, draw. I just wasn't stuck in bed. And when my quarantine in bed ended, my wife's like, can we switch? I need to be in the bed. I miss the bedroom and I miss the couch, to be honest. I miss sitting on the couch. I miss sitting up because I do my work in here. When I don't need to officially be in my studio, I love to be in my living room. It's close to the kitchen. It's just everything, it's a nice spot. Like right now I'm in the spot I sit in. I got my TV stand in front of me, on here, and it's fantastic. So now, she's in there in the bedroom. I'm here, and on Saturday we'll finally be able to go back into one bed.
So she wasn't diagnosed with anything.
No, she
right?
had no symptoms. Yeah, no symptoms, no anything. She, like I said, she's out right now. She'll text me when she's on her way home, and we'll have our cleaning supplies ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she'll take care of everything. I still hardly touch anything. She had to go food shopping. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And the only thing I do is clean like the vegetables, fruits and vegetables.
Right.
That's it. That's the only thing I touch. And the rest she's handling. So yeah, we've been very safe. Everything's been going well. I'm happy to be back to my old self. And
well, that's good, man. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're okay. Because I know you for a while you were doing the InCrediChat, and you were doing 1 o'clock drawing lessons for the kids on Facebook or on the internet, and all of a sudden you had to put all that stuff aside to handle this. So I'm glad you're okay, man. Really glad you're okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
we were just talking with Sam, and I think. Yeah, no, I'm sure. We were talking with Sam because you were episode 154. You're our first returning guest.
Oh, really?
So welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Mike. Yeah, you're making a comeback.
Yeah.
So, and I do remember you had mentioned your kidney issue. So when you said you had that, I was like, oh my God, that's scary as heck. But so other than this happening, tell me a little bit about the InCrediChat, because I was on there, and thank you very much for having me on there.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about the InCrediChat.
Yeah, no, you were a great guest. We welcome you guys back.
Thank you.
So InCrediChat started, it was more of an idea from my business partner, Mike Lopez. What happened was we run InCredicon, as I mentioned. All cons are done, for a while. Yeah. And what we wanted to do is give back. And like, he saw me streaming. I was testing because during the day I work as a substitute teacher, and I had to do something productive to make sure I got paid as a sub. So I said, I'm going to give these online streams. I was testing out different streaming services. I actually use StreamYard, which I love. And Mike started asking me questions about StreamYard. I said, yeah. And he's like, can we bring someone in and do an interview? I said, absolutely. So we started talking to people, and we started with bringing in friends of ours, and we had, we've had some really great guests on. We've reached out because everyone's home. We've reached out to people in the field that we've been fans of. So the day before I got officially sick, like that night, like the last 40 minutes of the interview, I started feeling sick during it. But we had Scott Shaw on. And Scott Shaw, if you're not familiar, I mean, he's done work for Hanna-Barbera and all this stuff. I mean, he's worked on not the original Flintstones from the 60s, but he worked on the 70s and 80s. He drew their comic books and stuff. So he's a big Hanna-Barbera guy. And, we spoke for almost 2 hours or over 2 hours with him. Usually we cut it down to an hour. But he was, just giving us so much that we couldn't even just say, hey, I want to stop. And then when I started not feeling it, I'm sitting there with a smile on my face because number one, I don't want to look in pain, but number two, his stories are fantastic.
Right.
And he actually does want to come back. Last night on the Monday night, we had Tom Ruger. Now, if you're not familiar with Tom, created Animaniacs, Freakazoid. He worked on Tiny Yogi's Treasure Hunt. He's done stuff for Filmation. Like one of my favorite Filmation shows was a show called Black Star, and he wrote about 4 or 5 episodes of it. And in those, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the clock. In those episodes, he he helped kind of define the worlds that they, along with other writers that I was a big fan of, like Michael Reeves, who I'm not sure he's still around. I heard he stopped writing. I think he developed Parkinson's or something, and got to give it up. But all like those episodes that I think are great of like Black Star and He-Man and Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoons from our childhood. Yeah, Mike Reeves wrote basically the best episodes of those series, in my opinion. But he had this great way of writing fantasy. So, we talked a little bit. We didn't go into Mike Reeves, but we talked about the shows and things that he wrote. And, he wants to come back. He was like, let's do something else, and maybe I'll bring one of my friends. So that awesome. Is cool. I mean, he stayed after we shut down like the live stream, and we talked for another 10, 15 minutes, and he's showing us things from around his studio. And,
that's cool.
Awesome dude, and so, we have people like that. We have, I can't announce dates yet. But we're going to have Keith Tucker on, who is a storyboard artist for G.I. Joe, Transformers, you know, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Courage the Cowardly Dog, like all these shows, you know, Keith Tucker storyboarded. And so he's going to come on at some point and talk about storyboarding. We've reached out to, well, actually, this coming Monday, I haven't announced it yet, but the announcement's going up tomorrow. We're going to have Noel McNeil, who was Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House, who's a friend of ours, he's a good guy. You know, we're looking at other artists. We're looking at bringing in other celebrities. I've reached out to David Reddick, who's interested. If you're not familiar with David, he's worked on the Garfield, you know, he's worked for Garfield Paws Inc. He has his own comic strip, you know, that runs 3 times a week on the web called The Intelligent Life comic. And it's hysterical. It's about basically the love of geekdom, you know. He had a strip called The Legend of Bill that was online. And he even did stuff for like Star Trek. It was a strip, I think it was called Roddenberry. So he's done a lot of cool stuff. So he's someone cool. I mean, I just don't want to like name drop.
Don't worry about it.
But we got, you know, it's getting fun because we're having these people come in. We're getting interaction with our audience that would have been at the show. And we're just having a lot of fun just talking to these people, some people that we never would have gotten to talk to.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of having like these podcasts and these shows. You get to meet some incredible and interesting people that otherwise you probably wouldn't have met.
Exactly. I'm taking it with me.
That's the fun of it. Now, go. Let's go.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Here, I'm going to have to take my headsets off just because they're not going to reach. Give me 1 second.
Dude, that's some incredible guests over there that they got going on.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm just wondering how often they do it. That's what I wanted to find out, just to see when they come on, you know? Hey, who are you texting with over there? You know you're on the screen.
I'm not texting, I'm reading.
So the quiches are done, just to give you a little shot of them.
Look at you. Look at you, Mike. Oh, all right.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
I'm eating Flex protein chips and he's got quiche. It's crazy.
Yeah, did I turn the oven? I just want to make sure I turned the oven off. We'll go in my studio now that I have it out.
This is a version of MTV Cribs.
Off. We'll go in my studio where I can be a little more comfortable.
It really is. You know, we've always talked about trying to go to the artist's home and see how they work. This is it.
Wait, yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Let me show you something though. These, because you know, being a geek here and stuff, these are a bunch of Disney. Our whole house is basically Disney, and these pictures that are hanging on the wall are puzzles my wife put together.
Wow.
So
really,
a lot of Disney stuff in here. Yeah. Actually, every room is Disney except my studio for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, really? So your mom's, you
want the POV shot of the studio real quick? Yeah, we love, we go about every year to Disney World. So, but this is the room where other stuff is on. And this side people don't usually see. This is my digital side of the room here. So, tons and tons of figurines and, that's my Jedi Snuggie up there.
Snuggie.
So let me come in. Sorry about that. Oh. Hey, when it gets cold out, it's really nice.
I love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about
it. Looks very snug.
Anyway.
I like it. Nah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Michael, I was going to ask you, you have these incredible guests on the show. How often does the show come on?
We do it twice a week. Monday night is a guaranteed, and then it's either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when our guests could come in. Sometimes we do it 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. We have 2 friends, Vinny and Ryan, who when I was out, Mike was going on with them. And so, we were waiting for me to come back so all 4 of us can go on because it's just fun. So last week was my official return. That Wednesday night, we did one with Vinny and Ryan, and we talked kind of about the movie theater experience now, what's going to happen with movies and whatnot, and online. Like this week, the movie Scoob comes out, and how is it not being released in theater might affect it for future, movies that would be in the same, same world, if you will. I don't know our topic this week, but we're going to talk Thursday night together.
It's interesting though, because that is a good question. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Everyone has different opinions. I'm personally of the opinion where I probably won't pay for Scoob. I love Hanna-Barbera. It's probably one of my number one companies. I love, Yogi Bear, Frankenstein Jr., The Impossibles, all those characters I love. And I even enjoy Scooby-Doo, but he's not my favorite. So am I going to drop $20 to sit and watch a movie that would have been a little, would have been less money for me to go out when the time comes, or just wait for it to go free? The reason why some of these movies, like Trolls, the new Trolls movie did very well, is because parents have kids. And you know what? If you can get a kid to be quiet for 90 minutes when you're stuck in the house with them all day, running around, you're going to pay $20 to keep 3 kids quiet. And I get that. And that's probably why the movies will do well. But something like Scoob was, I think, supposed to open up a new movie universe for the Hanna-Barbera characters. That's why they bring in Blue Falcon in there, and Captain Caveman's supposed to be in it.
Really?
I don't know how that is going to affect the future movies. Yeah. So, I'm hoping it doesn't destroy them and say, well, it didn't do well enough. Or is it going to be, well, we couldn't release in the theater and we still made this money. We're just going to make them direct to TV now, right, and pay-per-view. Like that could become something. And I'm not sure if I'm cool with that. Not for $20,
Right.
So,
I agree 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
we had Mike on the show, and we were talking about, like, even InCrediCon and like the where we are with virtual Comic Cons, and what do you think about that?
Yes. Well, virtual cons are difficult. I've actually talked to a few people about it, because it's not like you could have a table and sell your book, where it's like, hey, come over and look at what I'm doing and give me money. I think we're actually planning a virtual con. I'm trying to set it up to be a little different. Mike and I are still talking. We haven't confirmed everyone, so I'm not going to announce who's going to be there. But we're hoping to do it in the next couple of weeks. Uh-oh, it says my internet is unstable. I don't like that. Give me a second. I'm just going to plug in my computer. Maybe it'll strengthen the signal with a bit of better power. Like, we're going to start it on a Sunday, and it's going to be like an entire InCredi week, if you will. And we're going to go from Sunday to Sunday, and every day there's going to be something. And it's really more panel-like. So one of the things I want to do, though, that I think is different, besides bringing artists in, like, we had you come on, we told them where we can find your work, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to do that with other artists. But specifically, I want to talk with comic shops. Comic shops are hurting, but there's stores doing curbside pickup. They're still not allowed to bring people in. I heard that on the 20th, we're actually going to have comics delivered again. But people aren't going to be allowed in stores. You're not allowed. You still have to do curbside pickup. You still have to. So one of the things I want to do is bring stores on. Have them show off their store. Have them show off things they want to sell. Do they have dollar bins, or, I have a statue. You buy this statue for whatever it is, $75. I'm going to throw in these 5 comics that relate to that statue. Whatever they want to do. I don't know. But if we can bring in a few different comic shops throughout the week, and they could do curbside pickup or delivery or whatever it is, then I think that's a great thing to have. I don't want these stores to die. I was one of those people who thought comic shops should have been considered an essential, an essential store, because it's escapism. We're living in a time where this is, it's scary for people. Take something to escape that world. And if that means reading a manga, reading a graphic novel, having a toy or a statue that just gives you joy and you can stare at it and just escape for 5 minutes, then people need that. You know, I feel the same way about, you know, not that people use them anymore, but places that would sell books and DVDs and stuff because everyone's, you know, basically online. The other thing I want to do with the con is bring people who do online work. At this time, it is difficult. Even though stores are opened or doing curbside, they're not letting people in. Not everybody's leaving their house. They're still scared to.
Right.
I know people want to, but they're still scared to. So let's promote the people who are doing online comics. You know, people who post on webtoons, people who are maybe syndicated cartoonists that do work for, you know, King Features or Universal Syndicate or whatever it is, and let them, because even though, you know, people aren't, you know, getting the newspapers, their stuff is still there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if their stuff is still out there and you can get it digitally and nobody knows about it, let's promote these guys. I mean, I'll bring on regular comic artists. I don't, you know, that's not something we're not going to do. But let's promote the people who are providing the escapism right now for us. So,
right.
You know,
would you guys be, I mean, obviously you wouldn't be charging anything for it, right, Mike?
No. This is all free stuff. So, you know, we're going to do, you know, one of the things about Mike and me is we don't believe in charging for the InCrediCon stuff. I mean, we were supposed to be at a hotel our past show, and we were going to charge for that because of all the overhead and other stuff we needed.
Right.
But usually our shows are in malls. It's free entrance. And we just want people to come and enjoy themselves, talk with creators, buy stuff. You know, we want our vendors and our artists that come to make money. So we're not there to charge people at shows unless we're at a specific location like a hotel, and then we have to charge. And it was only $10 to get in. You know, we weren't, you know, charging crazy prices. So this stuff we give away for free, you know, and if we had panels at our show, they would have been free to go to. And these are just really online panels. It just, you know, it's Q&A, you know, so, you know, why charge for any of that? I don't believe in charging, especially for something online, especially if we have a day for kids. You don't charge kids. You know, we're going to have artists come on. I'll do some of my other friends are going to do demos on quick drawing, like 15 minutes, a half hour. Some of them are going to be pre-recorded, and we'll just pop them in different places. But, you know, I'll do a live demo and kids can actually ask me questions. I'm not opposed to that. You know, I'm not opposed to giving stuff away, especially during a time when we need that escape. We need that time to get out of our heads. There's no point in charging. Just let the people escape for a little bit. So.
Right.
Like, let's say, for example, an independent artist who wants to promote some of their work, like, you know, like Artist Alley, for example. How would you guys handle something like that? Where, like, if somebody had a book they wanted to promote, or if they were an artist who wanted to sell stuff, how would you guys do that?
It's in a couple of ways. I mean, we're still talking. I'm actually, and I know Mike is too, but we got to figure out how to do it correctly with timing. I've been interested in reaching out to a few independent artists or having them reach us and giving us, you know, their pitch, a 2-minute, you know, give me a 2-minute pitch of your book, where we can get it, you know, what's going on, how much is it, you know, stuff like that. And then it's just a 2-minute clip I throw in maybe in between while we're switching guests, you know, and I could run 2 or 3 of them, you know, and I think that would be a good way of working. Again, we haven't figured out everything. Do we want to do, hey, let's bring, I think StreamYard hosts 6. So if Mike and I are on, let's bring 4 people on and give them a half hour, you know, and then we just kind of talk and then we'll bring in later another group. So there's ways to do it. We just haven't decided on what the proper way to do it is yet.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's changing with the times. You got to adapt to what's happening right now, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got to be honest. Number one, I think we talked about this. I don't know one artist who has been upset being quarantined. You know, we live in our minds. We like, most of the time we like to be alone. It's a very solitary job unless you're penciler, inker, and you got to send stuff out or whatever. But we have a room, whether it's, like me, I have my studio, or we have a spot where this is our spot. This is where we love to be. We would rather be there than anywhere else in the world, and we could be creating art. Right. So to have that, no one I know who's a creative has been upset that the quarantine's going on, because now they can focus on what they've been wanting to do. There's no excuse. You have the time now to do what you want.
Right.
I'll tell you, the worst time of this quarantine was when I was sick, because I physically couldn't do anything.
Right.
If I didn't get sick, that month I lost would have been I would have been so productive, because I had so many things in the works, and I'm slowly getting back into getting that mindset of, hey, I need to build my product. I need to draw. I need to do, because it has been a little hard getting back into it after being sick and kind of just being in bed for almost a full month, Yeah. So yeah, it's.
So you said something that you guys
did I answer the question?
Well, I think I want a follow up on your virtual con, because you said you're looking to do it within the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Do you think doing something in such a short notice is going to get you the return that you're looking for?
Well, I will say this. It's not as much a short notice as it sounds. We've been reaching out to people for a few weeks. We're just kind of scheduling the dates, and we do have a decent following. And what we're going to do, and we post things on other pages, not just ours. So like we belong to other Facebook pages.
Right.
And like when we had Scott Shaw on, I made sure, or I don't remember, it was me or Mike, we went into pages on animation. We went into pages that were devoted to him, and we advertised all on these Facebook pages. So that was probably one of our largest viewings. I think we had live close to 1,000 people watching.
Wow.
It said something like 997 views or something while it was live, but we only had maybe about 15, 20 people actually interacting, asking questions, but at the same time, Mike sets up viewing parties in other groups. So even though we're seeing the views, we may not be seeing them interacting with us on our Facebook page, because they're not watching it through our Facebook page. They're watching it on another page that, either Mike owns or Mike and I both own or something like that. So, and I kind of act, I don't want to say I act as the director, but I have the main screen, and the StreamYard's my account. I pay for it. So I have, the control on the side. So I'm not really looking too much at the questions as Mike is, although I do read them, but I'm looking at making sure things are set up, and, we have the right video to show if we're showing a video, or if artwork's going up, I have my dual monitor to bring. So I have things I'm setting up and I'm doing behind the scenes that I don't focus on. Like Mike will have his Facebook open on his iPhone, or he'll have an iPad or something, and he'll have the actual screen. So he'll be looking at it in different views and being like, oh, got a question here, got a question here. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different animal when it's live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love it. I mean, I really enjoy it. I like the interaction, like I said, we love being alone as an artist, but we love to talk about the stuff we love. We love to talk with others about the stuff we love. It's not like I can sit and talk to my wife about, comics or cartoons. She may know a few, but eventually she's going to be like, okay, Michael, okay. Right. And, you know what I mean? So
I totally
it's
get
like
you.
having this, and the interaction is great. Like I love just chatting with you guys right now.
Yeah. No, this is great. This is great. InCrediChat, Mike, does it have its own website, or
no?
Is it on Facebook, or how do they get to it?
No, the InCrediChat is our InCredicon page. It's InCredicon HV on Facebook. But if you want to go to InCrediConHV.com, that's our website. What happens is after every stream, I download them, I upload them to my YouTube page, and I have a channel specifically for the stuff, and it automatically links to our InCredicon page. So if you go to InCredicon HV, you'll just see all of them in a list that you can go down and rewatch.
Gotcha.
You know, like I don't know. It's amazing how many views and stuff you get when you just type certain things in. But every one we've done is up there, except for a few Mike did when I was sick, because Mike doesn't pay for the account. I do. So I think I don't know if you can download it if you don't pay for the account. So his stuff wasn't downloaded, but all my stuff is.
I got you. Mike, this is incredible, man. You survived COVID-19. You're out here doing your thing. You got a virtual Comic-Con coming up. You got InCrediChat. You're an incredible man, man.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you being on the show. You've been amazing. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you. I'm happy to come back anytime.
Absolutely.
Right, I enjoy chatting with you guys.
I want to know how everything comes out with, once you guys get the virtual thing going.
Right.
And yeah, we'd love to have you back and just talk about that.
Absolutely. My goal is to have it finalized, by the end of the week, like Sunday, because I want to create the artwork by Sunday, Monday, so we can start advertising it.
Beautiful. Good luck with it. And
right.
thank you again.
Thank
you for coming.
Yeah,
Thanks
for
again.
showing up on the Zoom.
It was my pleasure. Yeah. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, bye.
All right.
All right, Mike. Enjoy that quiche. Take care.
I will. Thanks. All right. Bye.
That was good.
Awesome. Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah. So
virtual cons, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand. I just still don't understand it because I think some people who don't have, like, I guess he's doing it in a way where it's just you're spotlighting one person at a time.
Yeah.
Where like the bigger venues that have the capability and the technology are doing it where you have actual virtual rooms that you pick. Like you have a guest list and you say, I want to go to that room, and you got to pick a time slot and all that stuff, whatever. So it's all there. Yeah. So it's good. I like to see what happens with all these things and see what the pros and cons from it.
Yeah. Well, we would have seen that by July 10th. see how it works.
But not just with that. I mean, there's several organizations that are doing virtual cons. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting.
And see, and that's what my question was for, like, the little guy. Like, I mean, I think you spoke about that too. Like, if you have a book that you want to sell, you no longer have the table space to have somebody come over and say, hey, come check out my stuff. Well, no, I'm busy looking at the panel where, my favorite artist is kind of hanging out right now. So I'm not going to buy your book. Like, you have your chances were small then. Your chances are even smaller now, unless the convention itself caters to you.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
And that's the challenge, I guess. How does that convention now cater to you?
Yep. So, and I think everybody wants a piece of it, but who's going to actually make it work? So that the normal participants on all levels all benefit from it, not just the elite.
I think that this, though, may open up a whole new video stream for conventions. So, like, say you can't make it to New York Comic Con. Now you can stream it on your phone. The panels that you would have wanted to go to, now you can stream them on your phone. Now, would that mean that they're going to, it's going to cost them some money? Because now, why should I go to the convention? I could just stream this thing online.
Well, the people that go is because they want to get things signed. They want to meet the celebrities. They want to get those limited editions you could only get at the cons. Those they want to, they want to be there, and they want to experience the hustle and bustle and the rage of it. Will that ever be again?
No, that's the question. But the thing for me, as a person who, let's say you hate crowds, you hate waiting online. If they told you that they were going to give a preview of this movie that's coming out next summer, and there's going to be a panel at 4:00 on Saturday, and it'll cost you $10 to watch it, to stream it, will you just say, you know what? I'm not going to pay the $100 to get in there 4 days. I only want to see this thing on Saturday. I'll pay per view. So I'll pay for that panel. I'll stream it, and I'll sit here and just watch it and enjoy it myself. Things like that.
I guess it all comes down to the person, because you'll have those who don't like to socialize and will take advantage of that. Then you have those who want to just experience it. I mean, you know, and say, you know what, I want to pay because it's about all those experiences, the after parties, you know, the connections, all that stuff. You're paying, you're getting more than your money's worth.
Yeah, and I think conventions now get to double dip.
Yep.
Because now you're getting the people who want to come and pay the $100 or the $78, $80, whatever the hell it is for 4 days, and you also have the streamers who will pay the $10 per view of these panels. So now this just opened up a whole new avenue, a whole new revenue, right? Avenue for them to make some money, and they can thank me for that. You're welcome.
I'm sure they all are capital. I mean, I think right now Zoom stock is going through the roof because everybody around the world is using Zoom.
Out of control.
It's out of control. You know, so there's a lot of winners from this. There's gonna be a lot of losers, but there's a lot of winners from this. And the ones with the deep pockets and the tech background are the ones who are going to capitalize. The ones who have those coders and those, you know, engineers in the background that are just developing stuff to make it even better. They're going to win. You know, and the small guys, you know, are going to do the most simplistic form of it. But the big guys are the ones who are going to really reap the benefits from it. Yeah,
because they have the deeper pockets to pay for the technology that they're going to need to really make the money that they're going to be making. So
yeah, and I think it's just
interesting, very interesting.
You know, if you think that we were conditioned as a society to be independent, you know, because we talked about it before. You know, when I grew up, it was about family. You know, when I grew up, it was about sitting at the dinner table. When I grew up, it was about going on picnics together with the family, family vacations. It was about, you know, the gatherings and the kids growing up today. It's about leaving the family. It's about independent achievement. It's about, you know, entitlement. It's about, you you need to hustle and you can't let anybody hold you down. And it's about you. So there's a lot of lonely, depressed people out in the world. So you take that now, you mount this thing, social distancing, on top of that. So it's either you're going to regress or you're going to put things in perspective and say, where should my values really be? It's a tough situation, but it could get worse, because you think about the suicide rate that's through the roof right now, because of depression, because people who have to feel needed, have to feel appreciated, people who spend their whole lives on likes. You know, it's now everybody's vying for the same thing. So where you had the attention before, you might not have it now because, wait, hold on. I got, what's his name? James, what's his name? The comedian, James, from King of Queens.
Jeez, what's his name? I can't remember his name now.
Kevin James. Well, he's doing these funny podcasts where he's the audio guy on all these different movies. You know, you got LL Cool J going live every day. You got all these guys doing live. You got these rappers doing podcasts. You got Fat Joe doing podcasts. You know, so you got everybody. Everybody's doing something. Your audio keeps going out. Everybody keeps doing something. So it's like the competition's greater. You know, the market's being saturated right now, oversaturated. Every day you're seeing people that weren't podcasters podcasting. What does that world look like? You know, and who's going to rise to the top? Who's going to fall to the wayside? And, you know, and what does normal look like anymore?
By July.
Say that again?
July.
Yeah, I know. Stop acting up. Your audio goes out.
Go.
Yes.
Next week.
So thank you for watching Catch the Craze. If you like this episode, please let us know and subscribe to our show. I am Sam the Crazy Man, And that's George the Dreamer.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. I'm so crazy. You so crazy.
Acquiesce.
Crazy.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him the other.
Say my name, say my name. Right? This is what you were thinking? Yes. Oh,
You are listening.
He described me. He said, I'm the.
You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.